Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Thursdays with RamDev. Last week, we talked about the beginning stage of emotional freedom, of an embodied, mindful relationship with emotions, how emotions are really, for many people, the main obstacle to diving into meditation deeply enough to really get the fruits, that we can have a stale practice because certain emotions prevent us from deeper surrender and opening. Today, I'd like to talk about the second part of this practice, and that is a compassionate relationship with emotions. Almost all of us were conditioned in our early childhood to feel that we weren't good enough, that something was wrong. We had to behave in a certain way in order to be fully accepted and loved. And because of that, we develop a strategy in life of, I've got to improve myself, I've got to become a better person, I've got to fix myself. If I'm having negative emotions, difficult emotions, problematic emotions, whatever one calls that to oneself, then something's wrong, I've got to fix it. And this fix-it mentality makes it very difficult to keep the heart open. Is it possible that we, in the first stage, have had a clear enough mindfulness of what it feels like to be caught in an emotion, even caught in a positive emotion where we're really lost in it, or on the other hand, trying to run away from it, what that actually feels like, that we begin to have compassion for that place in ourselves where we're caught, where we're suffering. And just as an example, in 2008, 2009, I lost all my money in this Bernard Madoff scandal. I was at the risk of becoming homeless. I had a small child to support. I'd been a yogi all my life. What was I going to do? I had all these emotions, and I was really struggling to not lose my home, to stay afloat financially, if you will. And I tried meditating. I tried saying my mantra. I did yoga. I did all these practices that I knew worked, but the fear was so deep that I kept getting lost in it. And finally, after like 2 or 3 months of this, I had the inspiration to, instead of trying to mindful it away or mantra it away, to feel compassion for the part of me that was suffering so much, to actually do Tonglen, loving kindness and compassion practice for the part of me that was so scared. And it worked. Within 20 or 30 minutes, the whole thing shifted. I still had the emotions, but they were workable now. I could be with them. So instead of working with emotions, there's something wrong with me, I've got to fix it, can we open our heart to the way that we've been caught? Can we feel how we've been suffering? Have compassion for that part of ourselves. Have a heart that's open, connected, spacious, warm. And in that, then a deeper relationship with emotions, the healing message of an emotion will probably begin to arise. Next week, we're going to talk about what I find the most direct way of working with emotions, which is a tantric relationship. But even that pretty much depends on the first two things we've talked about, having a deep embodied mindfulness of this is what it feels like. And I can open my heart to even how much I'm suffering because of what I'm feeling now. So I hope this is useful for you. It's really been incredibly useful for me. In a way, it's the central focus on practice to begin to work with the emotions that are my particular pattern, and not just think about them, not just touch them, but really be with some of the more difficult emotions in an ongoing way. Now, if you have had abuse or very painful emotions that are overwhelming, don't dive into that place immediately, but work with something that's manageable right now. I love you. I hope this is useful for you. Take care. Bye-bye.